Okay, this is my week 7 analysis for my collection of ideas. And this week I just had two assignments. My first one was in my other category and it was a blog. And my second one was a short story. For my blog, I really wanted to do a blog for my other category because it was so different. And it proved to be a lot more useful and a lot more reliable than I thought it was going to be, because basically in this blog that I looked up and used, the author posed the question, which was the question of my theme: does love fade with the challenge? And then basically opened the response up to the public, and all these different people commented on it saying yes or no, and then they backed up their sources, if they were maybe an expert in the field, if they had some kind of degree, if they had been through it in a way, if they had found research somewhere. And so you got all of these different points of views on the topic. Some people agree with it, some people didn't, but it was good that I got that diversity in there, because that's going to help me a lot when I go to do my paper. And as for the short story, this was my last short story, and the title, I believe, was Good Men Are Hard to Find by Mary Flannery O'Connor. And it basically was this family going on a road trip together, this husband and his wife and their kids and his elderly mother. They get in a car accident. These criminals come up to them, and they assumed that they were there to help them. And basically, one by one, they take the family back into a part of the woods and they kill them. They shoot them. And they save the grandmother for last, and as she's sitting there, she keeps begging and begging for her life, and she doesn't care that they're killing her son or her son's wife or her grandchildren. She just cares that she's going to die. And so it just basically helped to reinforce my entire point that in certain situations, love can fade, and people can say and do things very differently when they're put in certain situations. And then I also talked about in my analysis for the short story this how this short story in particular directly relates to my book 1984 by George Orwell, which I'll be talking about in my week 8 analysis. But it directly relates to it because they have the same idea, and I'll go further into depth with that later on. But I think these were two good things to close out on, because one, the blog was so diverse and different, so I definitely wanted to reach the I wanted to have a lot of diversity in my paper. I think that'll help make my point a lot stronger. So I was definitely glad to close out with the blog, because that's not something that you would use as often. And the short story, I'm glad that I have, because like my book 1984, it just helps show my theme from a bunch of different points of view, so it helps to back it up and reinforce it even further.